Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud
and David Lauer.
This is the Battle of the Bloodlines challenge.
Yeah, our first episode of the season. And as we're going to get into, we don't really know how the setup of the season is going to go. The Bloodlines sound like they're going to be battling each other eventually.
That's right. This isn't part of the episode. It's just after the episode ends and whoever is eliminated, then they're like coming up. And they say what we thought, or what I thought, about going against your own bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that means teams. Bloodlines versus alumni. That's how I feel. There hasn't been any fucking suggestion of it in the trailer or anything, of like two giant teams versus each other. So
it might just be you versus your bloodline in a solo competition or something like that.
But where's the appeal to win against your own bloodline when, like, I don't know.
Maybe it's that. If you end up with if you end up where you have to go into the pit, once you have to go into the pit, then you're automatically, you don't have to go in, and your bloodline who lost, they get to go in.
Oh.
Would it be that? But would that hurt or help a team? Because you'd probably want your best player to go in.
I have no clue. I mean, we're full of all these ideas, these questions, because in the very beginning, TJ gives us nothing. He says, "Hey, you guys are with your cousins," and they're all like, "No shit."
Yeah, you told me to call them on the phone, so I did. And now they're here.
And so he's like, "Well, you guys like money, right?" And they're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay, well, if you get to the end, you and your bloodline get to the end, you have a share of $350,000. I will not tell you how that's going to be divvied up. Okay, take off to your villa, which is the same house that they lived in previously on Battle of the Seasons. The last time they were in Turkey, they were in that house.
I know. I remember this house. I did like the house, but it's also weird because it's like, why am I staying in the same place again? Yeah. Like, I don't ever remember seeing the same location cheap. Twice.
After thinking about it, after watching it twice, I'm like, this was a cheap decision. Cuts were made, and they were just like, same house.
Well, whatever. How else are they going to get $350,000 for the final?
Yeah, really. Yeah, that's the big explanation at the end. They're like, guess what? You get $100,000 of it, and the rest, production, we are so in the red. Like we
need to pay the rent for this villa. This is the cheapest one, and it's still really expensive.
Yeah.
Isn't it ridiculous that they're not going to be like, oh, if you get first place, you get this much? But it seems like even the bloodlines, like somehow whoever wins first place with their bloodline, we don't know who's going to get more of that money. Is that possibly how they're going to do the bloodlines versus bloodlines, have them go against each other? Whoever gets that victory, they would hold the advantage at the end. If you win the final, you get more money.
Okay, so first of all, if I was the challenge cast, I would be like, TJ, why did you make us stand out here for the opening shot at midnight? It's always dark at the premiere, and castmates have always said this is at like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and we just got off a jet, and we're all jet lagged as fuck, and it's always dark and it's always cold. And so they show up, and they always got to be like, what? We're with rivals? They really have to play it up. Or we're with exes?
Yeah.
They figure it out. They just have to play it up. They've all said that. They're like, well, the producers are like, hey, come on, we're making a show, goddammit.
Yeah, there's no surprise of who your partner's going to be. You've been talking to him the last couple of months.
No, so this is their cast audition for any kind of movie. Who could sell it the most, Because a lot of them don't want to be doing challenges for the rest of their life. They want to be actors. That's why they're on TV. They want to act.
They want to be the Miz.
Yeah, they want to be the Miz.
It's not going to work out for all of them.
It's not going to work out for the Miz.
Yeah.
All right, well, sorry. Well, hey, you know what? I heard that this year you took some notes for your own. What do you have to contribute?
I mean, that was basically the beginning of it. He didn't really describe a whole lot of the specifics of the game. All he said was like, your bloodline holds the fate of your entire game. So it's all up to your bloodline. So we know that. They're not giving us a clear view on the entire layout of the season.
No, the intro was like not even 30 seconds long. It seemed like, if I was the cast, I'd be like, why the fuck did we do all this? Like, just send us a clue on our T-Mobile sidekicks, and we'll fucking still show up for a mission. Like, I felt like that was a waste of fucking time.
But they always do. Yeah, they always do the intro where they bring them all out there, and then he says, "Oh, this is the pit." Or this is the dome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the pit. How do you feel about the pit? You like
I think
that?
it's kind of. I would rather just call it the dome. So now that basically all TJ says, have fun while you can, go party, and then they all go to the house
and do that. Yeah, to the same.
And Nani is running into first place,
yeah,
checking out the house.
Yeah.
Because maybe I've been here before, so she wanted to see everything she's already seen.
This was my very first season.
Yeah, shouldn't you at least let Candace or someone from the new cast, who hasn't been there,
or a star, let Leroy do it. Let Bananas do it. Run into the house first. But no,
I don't think they really cared because they're like, Bananas I saw this one on TV.
So yeah, same house. The interviews. I'll just talk about the interviews. There's a lot of the confessionals, but they're with their bloodlines. They're like, this is my cousin, whatever. And that was kind of cool. Some of them are interesting, but I found a lot of them just kind of tearing up, getting emotional. Like Corey, he started tearing up when Mitch was like, I look up to this guy. And I was like, that's a little weird. But eventually Corey wins me over because he seems really upfront, that's a real person. He's, when he's mad, he's actually being mad. He's almost like a brat of sorts. He gets emotional about Mitch and shit, and he tries to say, don't ruin this thing for lust to Tony and stuff like that. He was just a real dude, and he even stood up to fucking Vince later and shit. So I'm like, oh my god, you're not only are you Brad but you're also CT in a way. You're not gonna back down. That's awesome.
Yeah, I completely agree. I wrote down, I like the team of Corey and Mitch. That was coming away from watching them. I'm like, I like them. I like them in a mission, and I like their personalities. Mitch is, he's smart. He seems somewhat athletic. I'm not entirely sure how much. He's awkward as hell, but but he's likable enough. And then he seems to be a good pair with Corey because Corey seems very likable.
Yin yang, sort of he's the muscle. Although Mitch doesn't seem like he's not the muscle, just brains. He seems to function all right. Actually, what I took away from this is that Corey, he showed a lot of different sides of he gave me a personality. I felt like I kind of knew Corey, and better yet, as a person, as he has certain values about him. Mitch, on the other hand, he got drunk and hooked up with Rihanna, and she fed him cold cuts. It was very awkward flirtation. You couldn't put on any kind of sexy music and make that sexy at all.
It was just very Mitch awkward. Was totally willing to settle.
But yeah, Corey, Mitch, a team to look out for. They perked my interest, actually. I was surprised.
Another team they did an intro on that I really enjoyed was Jill and Cahutta's. Jill was saying that their papas are brothers, so they're cousins that way.
My papa and his papa. They're like, are you singing to us right now?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know any of my grandpa's brothers who have grandkids. I don't know that far of an extended family for me. I can't be cousins. I'm not cousins with someone like that.
Well, it helps that they're all living probably in the same trailer.
Presumably. It is if they're cousins that way, is that kissing cousins? What are the rules in Georgia?
Well, you know what though? Oh my God, that could be true because Jill, delayed her own wedding to be on this show.
She did.
Remember that?
With her cousin Freddie.
The other cousin.
The other bloodline.
I was gonna say, why would you do that for some random cousin? A cousin that's not barely related from your papas only.
Maybe because Cahutta is fucking ripped, and the time is now, and he's like, I've been working nonstop.
She's like, before I say yes to cousin Kevin, Cahutta's looking fine. He's put on muscle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like Kahada, I liked him. We said this in the pre-show, but now he's fucking got muscles. He does really good.
He's
this
always
fucking episode.
he's always super sweet, nice guy, and super funny.
Super funny, very level-headed, but is funny. He could be cocky, as in like when he fucking wins. Let's just spoil it right now. Yes, of course, man. A great fucking return from a great challenger. Like this is awesome.
They do have who is it? Tony and Christina hooking up.
Oh yeah,
you see that? I loved right in the beginning. Christina says, "If you have a girlfriend, I would never overstep those boundaries ever." And then fast forward a fucking hour later.
Yeah. When we hear the audible sounds of a belt unbuckling and pants being dropped to the floor and slurpage going on, like, okay, well, maybe not the last part.
And Tony says, "Well, just because we wanted to talk away from the cameras doesn't mean anything happened."
Yeah.
He's like, "I know how you guys are gonna try and cut it."
Like, yeah, that's right.
It's like playing that card and it's like, oh, okay. It's like,
that's pretty smart. But you know what though? To me, Tony, as annoyed as I was with him on first watch, you mentioned this. The first watch, we were just like, this was bad. We didn't like it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't really care for it. You didn't really care for it. Second watch, when I had to put the notes down, I actually liked it. There were things that I kind of dismissed at first as being generic. But you know what, Tony...
He covers a lot of bases in this. He has an integral part in a lot of the different stories. First, he's in like a social thing, or a hooking up with Christina, and then later we see him get into a fight with a bunch of the girls. Yeah. We'll get into that later. Oh my God, we want to talk about that now?
Well, okay, we can, just with Tony, not only did he hook up with a character, like that happens all the time, right? But he comes with a lot of history. His previous season on Skeletons, Real World Skeletons, he was like playing 3 chicks at one time. That's one of our fans. We're just like, oh, Tony's...
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And it's been confirmed. Yeah, he was playing like 3 chicks at one time.
But he settled on the one, and they were really
happy.
Who is
currently pregnant with his kid.
What?
They are now separated, and yeah, she's
good for her. Yeah, fucking dump that asshole, fucking cheating bastard. What the fuck? Like, why are you gonna go tell your girlfriend, like, hey, yeah, no, we're good, and then you're gonna go, and you immediately already know you're gonna bang the first chick you can get with.
Yeah.
Like, you should just tell your girlfriend, I think we should see other people. We'll see how we stand after the show. Don't go in with a commitment. Because, like, he says he's not gonna do anything. Hour and a half later, he's like, oh, alright, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, totally true. And I would also sit down with that said girlfriend who is pregnant and say, you did watch that season where it was revealed on a television show to millions that he was playing 3 chicks at one time. That's the kind of guy he is. Did you really consider commitment from him?
Yeah, if he's put in that same situation again, he'll just repeat the same action.
Day one. Remember, the sun came up really early. So he's only been there for like what, maybe 4 hours, not even 3 hours, and he was.
And they're all on different time there, so like it was right when their bedtime was when the sun is coming up. So they're like, well, we can't go to bed now that the sun's coming up, so we're gonna stay up all night.
Yeah. Oh,
that was kind of cool.
I personally enjoyed back in the day drinking until the sun came up and continued to drink again. Like, it was such a cool feeling. Imagine having
so damn early
beer goggles, watching the most beautiful natural thing that's ever occurred. The sun coming up.
The sunrise.
Or
the sunrise, yeah.
The sunrise is more universal than an orgasm. Some girls can't achieve it.
Well, if they're with guys like Tony, you know, it's going to happen.
Where were we, though?
People are getting drunk, and...
Early morning.
Yeah. Tony kind of gets into it. Is this when he gets into it with the girls?
Because now Larissa, Camilla's little sister, who again, I told you, she looks soft to me. And sure enough, like, sure, she confronted him, but like, she was like...
Physically or emotionally?
I don't know.
Or
what
both?
Do you think? Both?
Yeah.
She was short. And, I don't know.
She doesn't look all that tough to me. She just doesn't.
See, this is the point.
She doesn't have that confidence.
Again, this is the point. Tony is getting in trouble right now by Camilla because he basically was drinking, surrounded by cameras. He sees Larissa, and he's just like us, and we're like, you're soft. You're soft.
You don't have a chance
You're
in
never
this
gonna
game.
Fucking win. Ever.
I got skills. I'm 6'4". I'm not 4'10".
Yeah, what the fuck are you gonna do? Walk away?
Just because you're Brazilian?
Yeah, exactly. And she didn't come off as Brazilian like Camilla does. But I
Camilla
feel like,
just kind of slurs her speech and kind of has a Brazilian accent in those slurs.
Yeah.
But, I mean, she didn't seem like crazy or anything. She just seemed to get a little upset and like, what the hell? But then we see other people like Nicole start to butt her face into this argument.
Yeah.
And give her 2 cents on how she feels.
What exactly did she say? She just said, yeah, I heard you say that. What are you going to do? Like, I mean, she had really nothing to do with the argument, yet she's doing the naughty thing of just like, oh, I want to get in a fight. Or there's some, I don't know, like I won't back down. In fact, I'll get really up in your face about it and shit like that. We admitted that we weren't the best Nani fans.
No, I wasn't. I really haven't cared for Nani. But I gotta say that after this episode, Nani impressed me with a lot of the stuff she did throughout this entire episode.
Like
what? And I kind of like her a little more. She was very level-headed. She knew not to get crazy. She's learned. She's a vet now. Not to get crazy on the first, couple nights and get into drama. So this time, she's giving advice to Tony and Shane later afterwards. And so Nani, it seems like she's matured. And now she's only getting talked about hooking up with other cast members, even though she hasn't done it, allegedly.
Oh my god. Yeah, I guess, Nani was pretty prominent. Very good idea, producers, have her running into the house first. Like, little did we know it would play out.
It was booked that way.
Yeah. Now, Nicole, she barely had anything to do with the fight, yet she's pulling the Nani, getting in the face. I just want to call Rivals 3 alert. Because we now know that there is a 28th season being filmed right now.
Yeah, right now.
And it's been confirmed that it's Rivals 3 co-ed.
Guy-girl teams on Rivals. This is going to be cool. I'm super stoked for it. I loved Rivals 1, Rivals 2.
I've loved both those seasons. And now that it's going to be guy-girl, it does sound interesting. It felt like it could get really desperate if it's another guy, another girl. You do have to shake it up. I do agree with that. But take this rivalry, for example, a Rivals 3 spoiler alert. Tony and Nicole are going to be teammates in Rivals 3. Now, they have this little thing where Nicole is just like, what are you going to do? You're a kid. Like, she's like trying to get up in his face. She's clearly not as tall as him, but I think she's on the picnic table or something, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, what are you going to do? Nothing. They don't really have any other altercations beyond that. Do you think it's going to be based off of that and that alone?
No, they're going to have some other interaction down the line. For sure. Like, Tony, he seems like a bit of a loose cannon, as does Nicole. So I can totally see them getting drunk and getting into another one? Another.
But it also makes it, again, seem really cheap. Really just like, hey, just fucking put that... They did get in each other's face. But you could also say Nani got in his face as well. Camilla did as well. Larissa did as well. And you could... Because they had just about the same amount of screen time. So I was like...
Tony has to be smart in this. Like, dude, just walk away. You're outnumbered. Like, what you're arguing, just say... You're right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. Instead, he's just like, oh, I never said that. It's like, dude, you've been drinking. You don't know what the fuck you're saying.
You know what? You saying like, hey, walk away, bro. You're better than this. You're drunk. You sound queer, man. You sound like Shane, his brother, because he basically said the same thing. He's like,
exactly.
What
and
are you doing?
Why
are you up in these people's faces? Like, you scared me, bro. Like, you look like you were gonna hit a girl, and that's not cool. Like, he was like kind of calling him out on some serious shit in front of the cameras, saying, you look like you were going to hit a woman, and that's not cool. And he was making Tony seem pretty bad. Pretty fucking psycho, pretty, like, kind of, like, out of control and stuff. He's like, you're letting this house get to you and stuff like that. Like, drop the pride. Like, this isn't you. Like, all this shit. And after a while, Tony's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. He was getting pissed. He fucking lunges at him, just pushes him into the wall.
Well, before that, we can't skip some of the great things that Shane said. Because he was saying, you're all about the drama, bro. He's like, going home because of you. We're going to go to the pit and dig in the pit. Because he's thinking, if you're starting drama with people in the house, that's how you get sent in and voted in. You're like, whoa, first night here and you're starting shit? Like, you're getting sent into the dome or the pit. So Shane has watched the previous seasons of the challenge.
Yeah.
It definitely seems that way. then Tony is telling Shane that he's drunk and he needs to walk a straight line. And Shane says some of the fucking most hilarious shit I've ever seen. He's like, I'll walk a line, I'll walk 3 straight lines. Bam, 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 bam. I vogue on that shit.
That's right.
It was the funniest fucking thing ever. Like, I loved it.
It was. I actually, like, again, on second viewing, I'm like, Shane is kind of funny. I kind of like how kind of over the top he is. He's not Tyler annoying gay. Annoying.
No, not at all. Yeah, he's not that. Like, when in the earlier seasons, Tyler would be super annoying and gay. Yeah. Well, as he got older, he just became a normal, nice person. You're like, oh, you're not trying to act a certain way.
That sounds so bad. But I guess what we're trying to say is he dropped the over-the-top gay mannerisms, right? Is that what it is? Is that what we're trying to say? Because we can't just say he was being annoying and gay.
Yeah, it's those mannerisms.
Because he was still gay when he won those two. When he won Cutthroat and Rivals back to back, he was still gay and loving it.
Loving it? How do you know this?
So yeah. Anyways, Shane was very entertaining, and he was really kind of
not talking about Tyler anymore. Okay.
No, I'm not even a big fan. I just know that he is a good gay guy challenger.
But there's also Frank and there's also Ryan. Like, I like this team because both of these guys on this team, like, one's a loose cannon hothead, one's, just seems like kind of a crazy entertaining dude, and Shane. But like you were saying, as they get into this fight, like, Tony just starts charging at him from like 10 feet away. How do you
feel about this? I mean, these are brothers. Like, they have a lot of shit on each other, right? He fucking pushes him back, and Shane, he really starts to kind of panic. He really kind of like, what the fuck are you doing? He's the only one who threw a punch. He actually did punch Tony.
He did, but Tony charged him, grabbed him by his tank top and his scarf. Yes, he was wearing a scarf. Tony grabs him by his tank top and scarf, and then just like lifts it up right by his throat and kind of throws his throat into the wall, so his head is like hitting the wall, and then those plates. And then he drives him over to the right towards the other door.
Into the producer's door. We're like, hey, we're trying to edit, you bastards, and looking nice. And what are you doing? You guys are fighting each other.
It's like, Chuck, cut to camera 4. Camera 4.
It was so weird. Like, you got to see the producers of the show. They look just like you and me. I don't know. Like, they're just people. They don't belong on camera. It's not like they're pretty or anything. They're just like,
no, hey, they're not like
Shane, stop it. Shane, Tony, get out of here. Like...
They're not like any of these challengers. They don't belong. They belong behind the camera.
Definitely, yeah. Know your role.
But Tony won't have that. He's pushing Shane. And Shane's freaking out because he's getting he's grabbed from his shirt and getting thrown around by Tony, who weighs a lot more than him, is a bigger dude than him.
Yeah.
Shane throws a right and a left or whatever it was. One that seemed to hit him good, and the other one kind of missed. Yep. But he did hit him once.
That's physical contact right there. That's
personal
a face
foul.
Mask.
That's 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
And I can't remember the last time producers had to come out to intercede on a fucking fight. I'm thinking Duel 2, CT versus Adam. Like that's something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Like that's the most recent thing. Now everyone's just like, oh my god, what the fuck is going on? Okay, so now everyone is like, Shane, are you okay? And Shane's like, this is the closest time he's ever come to like punching me and stuff. And Nani and Nicole and Camilla, they're all just like, he's a psycho. What the fuck is the matter with him and shit? They're just like saying all the shit about him, right?
And they have drinking copious amounts of wine at this point because we've seen them when it was like totally, it was hours before in their first opening their bottle of wine and having their glasses.
Yeah.
Nani's not even holding a wine glass anymore. It's just like this juice glass filled with wine. Come on.
Well, they're saying all this smack about, like, holy shit, he shouldn't even be on the show and blah, blah, blah. Now, I actually watched Meet the Bloodlines. Did you watch that one?
Yeah, I did.
Something like that? Where it was revealed that Shane threw a knife at Tony back when they were kids.
What?
Getting in a fight. Their whole relationship was based on, like, how Shane... He knew he was different, and Tony knew too, but yet Shane couldn't... He didn't know what it was, but he was violent with Tony. He threw a knife at Tony, and it wasn't until he came out that he realized what all the problems were between the two, with himself, all the shit, right?
So that's Tony hated shit. Shane because he was gay?
No, Shane was mad at Tony because he didn't know what the fuck he was. He threw a knife at Tony. So now people
but maybe Tony was being a dick to him first. Not accepting his scars. and his nail polish.
Okay, so so
what if he likes to sew? Lots of guys like to jump rope.
all right. So what you're saying is that Tony, to me,
they said that his dad died, and Tony kind of was raising Shane.
Shit,
he was the older guy. Tony should have been a better older brother. Like, he shouldn't have been like making his little, like, he should have been a little more caring somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm playing, Monday morning psychiatrist right here. I know how these guys grew up.
Hungover psychiatrist, everybody, after the Packers win.
Exactly.
What am I getting at? But no, I'm just trying to say, Shane threw knives at Tony in anger. Tony came the closest thing to hitting him right then. I'm just saying, it's like, come on, wait. Tony's not the psycho here. Shane is a little bit more psycho.
But he wasn't acting psycho. He was being flamboyant and yelling at him. But
he never did. When he threw the knife at him back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
Sure, it was never on camera, but still.
But that doesn't mean Tony needs to charge him and like throw him up against the wall.
Maybe he does. He's like, you know what? I never put knives on the wall back in the day, so when I put him on the wall, he knows to calm down. I brought this guy up.
Maybe this is the shitty parenting he was doing ever since Shane was 7 years old.
Yeah.
Maybe he's an abusive father, but he's an abusive older brother.
Yeah.
Maybe, they asked Shane, has this ever happened before? Like, no, it's the first time. Even though he's got like a black eye that looks like it's a week and a half old. Like,
but he covers
battered
it up with
little brother syndrome.
Yeah. The mission.
The day's mission.
Do you want to call it the mission? Do you feel comfortable?
That's what we call it now, don't we?
It's called Water Battle. And it's going to be divided into girls' heats and guys' heats. And you have to, like, run up this fucking dirt mound in all this, like, almost the force of a waterfall, maybe. Maybe slightly, more contained. And you have to, like, fill up your big bucket, run, somehow hold on to all that water down this steep fucking dirt mound, and put it in your team cylinder. Mm-hmm. How do you feel it being girls' heats, guys' heats? And obviously, there's girl team, guy team, and guy team.
Them splitting it up into like guys are gonna go once, and then girls are all gonna go together. That makes sense because it's very close quarters, and like it's basically just their way of getting like weight limits.
So you're okay with it?
Yeah.
Although, spoiler alert, it's revealed some, some people have an advantage being guy, girl, guy.
In this mission, yeah.
Yeah.
But it could be different, it could be different every mission.
Well, let's talk about the girls' heat. They only have 10 minutes to fill up their cylinder. So there's quite a few teams who are girl, and then there's girl, guy. The guys, they're just like, they have no advantage this fucking first round. Bananas and Vince, Corey and Mitch, Dario and whatever, Rafi. Yeah. So let's start with the beginning. Basically, it went really fast. It was pretty impressive. I thought this was kind of a cool idea because, like, at first I'm like, oh, this is very basic. But if you think about it, trying to get water, a bucket heavy, full of water down there.
Yeah, and we can see that, like, the big thing is, it's tough to get up that hill. And then once you do, getting that bucket filled with water down to it, like Nani, Anissa, they're all doing it the same way. They just slide down on their ass the whole way.
Yeah.
Like Anissa even did the splits at one point. Bananas was like, oh, nice one.
Yeah. And she's like, I feel nothing.
But I thought Anissa looked good in this challenge. At one point, like, Brianna, she forgot to bring the bucket to the top of the hill. She's just up there. It's like, what the hell are you doing? You forgot your bucket at the bottom.
Brianna, who was that? That was Jenna's.
That's Jenna's.
Yeah.
Her sister, her younger sister.
Yeah. Just as out of place. Just as, like, kind of bewilderingly absent within the mind. Yeah.
And, like, they showed on there as they're all going through everything and they're battling it out. They say on the bottom that Cara Maria is in the lead. Now, Cara Maria, she's on a girl-guy team. So she's one girl. There are other teams of two girls. And at one point, Cara Maria was still in the lead.
Jill was also doing really, really good. She was like maybe first or second. I thought that Jill and Cara Maria were kind of changing places in terms of like who was doing better.
Yep.
But let's focus on the people that were doing the worst. Candace, Leroy's cousin. Leroy's teeth-braced cousin. She has braces on her teeth. The original grill, if you would. Like it was very weird to see a grown woman. I mean, she looks grown, anyways.
Tons of people have braces. So
on television. When was
tons
the
of
last
people
time you
have
saw
braces.
that on reality TV though, or television?
I don't watch reality. I only watch the challenge,
Right.
so it's I have no.
Good for you.
I know
Me
the
too.
comparison.
But like,
I'm not watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians and Snooki or something.
oh, you're mixing genres. Not at all though. It's all the same shit. But no, the challenge.
But, yeah,
was
and
about-
Candace, she says before she's about to do anything, she's like in that like the 1-on-2 or whatever, the camera guy with Candace and Leroy, or Roy Lee, as he likes to call himself. Candace says, she's like, I'm about to kill it, 100%, 1,000%, 1,000%. All right, let's see it,
Yeah.
Candace. What do you got? And she
performed like Leroy. All talk.
Oh no! Shut up, Vince. No way. No way. Leroy's freaking awesome. In missions, he kicks ass.
All right, now this is the common.
And Candace, she obviously did not. She sucked.
She did, yeah. She was really bad. Like she put the bucket on her head like a dunce cap, and just you saw her pathetically
Yeah.
try and climb it.
And it's like,
fall
how do
every
you
time.
climb? Like, how do you walk? You use your legs. But she's trying to climb up this mound. She's not even using her legs. She's just like pulling at dirt with her hands. It's like, lift up a knee. Come on. What are you doing?
As soon as Candace was doing bad, people who have talked about the show and whatever, they're just like, oh, once again, Leroy, you know, you feel bad for him every season because he has a terrible partner or whatever.
He had a great partner last year.
And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. But free agents, he was an individual.
Yep.
And he sucked again. In fact, he was pretty goddamn bad. He decided to fucking throw every mission just to stay safe, just to be safe from Laurel. I'm not a fan.
Yeah,
I'll
he did.
just
I
leave it
mean,
like
he
that.
did do that. But Leroy, he's proven to be good.
Yeah, he is good, but he doesn't deserve like the whole like, oh, feel bad for him because his partner's bad. He performed bad all by himself.
Yeah.
Free agents revealed nearly anyone who performed in that season pretty accurately or shown a light on their performances. I think the next season, after this season ends, I have to cover free agents. I feel like it's become so relevant.
It is. It was a great season. And like
It wasn't. But it was relevant.
It was a great season. Like the format of the show kind of sucked with the draw and it being a random lottery, where
Yeah.
it ended up being unfair and didn't really make a whole lot of sense. But there was so many great people on that cast, so many like good stories told.
I just feel like when I hear free agents, I think the NFL, and I don't think luck having to do with anything to do with the NFL.
Exactly. That's
besides
it's like
coin
the
flip.
draft lottery in the NBA, where it's like, who's getting the number one pick? Oh, we did a lottery, and you know they were only the 9th worst team, but they'll get the first pick. Like, what the fuck?
How did we get to this point? Leroy sucking? Is that what I was getting at?
Yeah.
I feel like that was the gist.
You
of,
went off on a Leroy.
yeah,
side.
yeah. I'm sorry, but
Okay.
it's still there. I'm sure Leroy had a few good scenes or whatever, but don't feel sorry for him because he's had his shot in free agents. So any other time he shows up with a partner, you can't be like, oh, it's the partner's fault. He had his fucking shot.
Okay, first off, Leroy is a good competitor. All right, yeah, he's lost at times, and it was his own fault.
He's lost every time, technically. He has. I mean, I'm sorry.
You can say that about the majority of people on.
He
Challenge.
won a runner-up. That's the best he's ever done was recently.
So if you've never won it all, you're terrible. So
No,
Kahada
I'm not.
is
No,
terrible.
I'm not
Carmarin
saying.
is terrible.
I'm not saying he's terrible, but
He's not good. That's what you're saying.
I'm just.
Just because you haven't won it all doesn't mean you're not a good competitor and you're not
but
worthy of respect.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need to feel sorry for him because of his partner. I think it sucks that he has a bad partner because ultimately he's gonna need. If it's a partner game at the end, you're gonna need a good partner. And like Candace does not look. She looks like Devin material when it comes to performing in a final.
Shit.
Right?
What a diss.
She's like Carly, like Landon and
right,
Carly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fresh Meat too.
But again, I say don't feel sorry for Leroy because he knew his cousin. He's known his cousin his entire life.
That is true. Why the hell would he pick this as his cousin? Like, was he forced to pick a girl? Maybe they're like, no, Bananas is bringing his brother, or his cousin, so we want you, Leroy, to get a girl cousin. And that was the only option. Maybe that was the best he had to pick from. Because otherwise, if he could have gotten, like, a dude who was athletic, a bit of guy team, that would put him at an advantage.
A bit of a reveal. I have looked into this just a little bit, a smidge. And they've said, producers ask you, tell us 3 people that could be on the show. And have those 3 people submit a videotape. You know what I mean? And producers will be like, you know what, Leroy, you have a uncle. That's amazing. He's only like 2 years older.
His name is Uncle Rico.
Yeah.
He's 45.
Okay, well you have a brother. And he's like, you mean as in the black way or
as a friend or as a blood relative?
Now, when you say you're his brother, do you mean like related to you or like in your black friendly sort of way? So anyways, producers ask him that, and he says, yeah, I have a brother that I would like to perform with. I also have a friend that I would like to perform.
So is your brother your friend? Or is he just a brother?
And they're like, no, it has to be bloodlines, blood related. He's like, okay, cool. I'm actually a Crip, so blood is not going to factor in any of this. And then he says, I also have a cousin named Candace. Now, say his brother submits a video, and he's like, you know what, me and Leroy get along very well, actually. And I have so much respect for him. But then they watch the video, and they're like, he's very boring. He's really fucking boring. And then they watch the video of his fucking Crip member, and they're like, you know what, he kind of sparked some interest, but he just got shot.
We can't get him through airport security.
Yeah.
We can't get his...
No.
His paperwork is not going to get in order. No. He's still on parole, so that's not going to work.
Yeah.
So she's able to come.
So out of those 3 people that they submit, they're just like, you know what? In the end, we're going to have it there. So Leroy ends up with his fucking female cousin. That's the big thing that I've heard a little bit. Like, that's a possibility. So either way...
And it seems like the producers might have screwed him over. Because, like, Bananas, he gets a brother. Dario, he gets a brother. Thomas,
Bananas
he gets a brother.
Gets a cousin. His cousin Vinny.
Yeah, but he gets Vinny. A guy.
Vince.
And it seems like if you're going to do similar challenges where you have girls and guys doing the same thing, the guys usually have an advantage.
Yeah. Yeah,
because you know they're taller, they're longer, they can jump a little higher, be a little faster. It helps them in all these challenges. So it seems to be an advantage to be a guy team. So Leroy kind of might got screwed.
Yeah, you know, Vince and Johnny being a guy pair, they actually do really well. Let's just cut to the guys' heat now. They're doing really well, and you know what? Cara Maria is like, hey, I order what Jamie? Yeah, she's like, Jamie, my bloodline, my cousin, fill in Kahada's cylinder, and Kellyanne is like, hey, cousin, whatever, Anthony.
Yep.
Take your Spartan racing ass and bring those buckets and fill Kahada's cylinder. Because I used to bang him. We have a history. And apparently Cara Maria likes Kahada as well. They're just like,
is there a history that we don't know behind Kahada and Cara Maria?
If there is, why the fuck isn't it on video? Like, those two are amazing. They should be together.
I know. They're never in scenes together.
Oh my god, they're the same person. I knew it.
How is it going there?
Kahada's like, I put on this wig, put on some eyeliner. I'm Johnny. He's Johnny Depp, you know. But then he puts in a few nose piercings, and now he's instantly Cara Maria.
Okay.
Yeah, and Abram is like, no wonder my ass hurts every time we fuck. I'm sorry, I'm really off today.
I got a piss.
Should we pause it? Alright. Alright, so where were we? Cara Maria makes an audible. She's like, Bananas and Vince, they're doing really well.
They're in the lead.
Who the fuck wants them to win? No one wants them to win. And she is actually kind of an enemy to Bananas anyways. Like, she's kind of established. She should be in Rivals 3, by the way, but she's not. So no Rivals 3 alert.
But her strategy, it seems like I am on a girl-guy team, and they're a guy-guy team. So she feels threatened by them. They're in first place. They're winning. She's like, us girl-guy teams need to stick together and try and take down the guy-guy teams.
Oh my god. So it's like a divisional thing.
Yeah. She wants to, she's drawn the line in the sand. Like, us, me, Kellyanne, hopefully she can bring Kahada on board. She's helping Kahada out.
So she would have called the same play had Dario and Rafi been in first, had Corey or Mitch. She's like, no, guy, girl have to prevail no matter what. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's what I think she was thinking.
That's a good point. Yeah, exactly.
And, but was it the right play? Is this the right play? This is the first episode of the season, the first mission. Like, if you're going to do something like that, do you maybe wait a little bit into the season before you start to try and skew the results when the vote really matters? Because this is the first episode. Whoever gets first, does it really matter? Like, they're just going to throw in the team. It's episode 1. They always throw in a jobber team. Rookies. Always.
That's a very good
point.
point.
That or someone who throws a lot of drama out. So, but, like, the worst team, it ends up being between Nani and Nicole and Jenna and Brianna. Both of which are 2 girl-girl teams.
Yeah.
And Jenna and Brianna, they end up doing the worst. And because of that, because they're both girls, it's a girl elimination day.
Do you think it was because they were girl-girl? Or do you think next episode, no matter what, TJ is going to be like, it's a guy elimination day?
So maybe the worst guy team. Maybe even if you're not last place, if you're the worst guy team, I hope that's the way it is, because otherwise you might end up with like 2 or 3 episodes in a row where it's like, oh, the girls did the worst, so it's another girl elimination day. And then by like episode 5, you're like, whoa, we've lost like,
it's
3
possible.
girl teams.
That's what I was thinking. Like if producers didn't think all of this through, it could be a guy-girl rotation thing, and which everyone can capitalize on that, you know, once they establish the, how it's going to work. Or was it just simply because girls were in last place? And it's not, there's never going to be a guy-on-girl elimination round, you know. They're just like, even though it worked great on the Gauntlet 1 and the Inferno 1, we're never going to do that ever again. We're too focused on physical eliminations and physical missions and physical finals. Like, we're never going to focus on a possibility that...
But I don't want it to only be puzzles in the different, like, if you go into the pit to do a puzzle, it's like, come on, it's the pit. And it's kind of the weight class things again, you know? You want to have someone who's a similar body type to you.
Well, what do you think?
You don't want to have a dude like Vince going against, like, a girl like Christina, where it's like, holy shit, there's like 170-pound difference here.
Yeah, in that same elimination, or do you think they would change it other than the throwing the rope up, trying to get over the beams?
They would obviously do something different, but it doesn't seem like it would be fair no matter what.
So we're hoping that the fact that girls got last place is the reason why it's a girl elimination. But if that's the case, Bananas and Vince are safe this episode. Who knows? Maybe they wanted to put in a good, strong team in there, but it's prohibited because only girls got last place. Yep. In that case, that's a flawed design right there.
Yeah, because it could have been a girl and guy thing. I mean, you would end up eliminating more people faster if you put in, okay, we're going to have 1 girl is going home and 1 guy is going home. But because they're doing it with 1 person from your team goes, both you and your bloodline both go home, that's the way they're going to do it. They're not going to keep just 1 person of the bloodline.
Okay, we said that last place was between Jenna and Brianna and Nani and Nicole. Mm-hmm. Nani and Nicole. Nani, who's like supposed to be like this established veteran, you know? Like, she does pretty goddamn bad.
She did better than Nicole did. She wasn't great, but Nicole was really bad at
You think it was all Nicole's fault? Do you think so?
Nani definitely should have done better, but I think Nicole really hurt her. I don't know, but it's hard to tell.
Let's talk about Nicole. We already know that she's going to be part of this universe. She's next season. You know, she's on next season.
Oh, she is Rivals 3.
Yeah, Rivals 3 with Tony.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Think back.
I did know that. I did know that.
Watch your
Loud
own
and
show,
clear.
goddammit. So, my impression with Nicole was she doesn't look as hot as...
Yeah.
I mean, on a very fake standpoint, she looks fake. To me, looking fake, no matter how hot you are, if you look that, like...
She has way too much makeup on.
Yeah.
She's got, like, the eyelashes and her eyebrows are way too overdone. And her... Like, she's got, like, fake contacts in that make her eyes look, like, purplish. Yeah, like Roman Reigns' eyes when he had the fake contacts in.
Yeah.
Like, she looks so fake with all the makeup and stuff. It's like, no, you actually look like you're really pretty. Just take all that fucking shit off and just be yourself. And, like, Nani kind of does that look. Nani doesn't wear a shit ton of makeup. She's still good looking.
Yeah.
You know, for a whore. But
Oh.
well, that's what she calls it. That's what she said.
That's her defining factor.
Yeah,
Again,
she's like,
this
everyone
episode.
calls me that.
Again.
Everyone calls me that. Do we want to talk about them more, or do we want to move on?
Let's move on. Because we'll quickly get to it. Let's just talk about
like,
the
Kahada is talking with his cousin.
Jill. This is deliberation time.
Yep.
This is very important.
Who are they going to pick?
Kahada is drinking a beer. Do you want to be making these fucking crucial, worth thousands of dollars decisions drinking a beer?
How do you think Winston Churchill did it? You don't think he had a sifter full of brandy?
That's true. I did hear that he was a drunk.
Yes, of course.
Jill asks Kahada, were they mad? And this is like a very cumulative question. Were people mad? Was Bananas mad? And Kahada says, Bananas, no, he wasn't mad. He's smarter than that. He knows that it wasn't my idea. I didn't call it. It was all Cara Maria and Kellyanne. They helped us. Why did they help us? I have no idea. It was a dumb move. I think he said something about like how that wasn't very smart for them to help us.
It was dumb of Cara Maria and Kellyanne to do that.
And I feel like he is saying what you said. Why make such a bold move so early?
Yeah. And
even though he won, he's just like, that was a bad move.
You're not likely to be in danger to get thrown in. And you have no reason to think like, oh, if Bananas won, Bananas is going to throw me in for sure. Like, do you think that would have happened? Let's say Bananas wins this. I think Bananas would have just kind of done a similar thing and thrown in
You think so?
a rookie team because they're going against Jenna and Brianna, which is not a strong team. So basically anybody you're putting against them...
He won because he wouldn't throw in Cara Maria and Jamie.
No, because he knows Cara Maria would
Right.
beat Jenna or Brianna.
Right. So, yeah, Kahada was right. He was like, hey, we won, but that was a dumb move. The way that we won, it kind of set up a lot of shit right now. And hopefully we're not targeted at all. So what we're going to do, we're going to make kind of a safe yet effective elimination decision. They're going to put in Christina and Emily.
Yeah.
Because what does he say? I feel like he's like, Jill, I feel like you could take them on if you ever go against them, or Jenna and Brianna, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, we actually want Jenna and Brianna here. They're once again going to be the layups. Or Jenna is. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it's kind of working out that way. But it's weird because before it was just they were never getting voted in. This time she was actually last. Normally she doesn't get last. Because
she broke her curse.
Jay was good enough to lift her up.
Yeah, really.
As small amount that he was lifting her up. Like, Brianna, she sucks as a partner. Like, it seems like she really is just... How the hell is Jenna going to do anything with Brianna as her partner? Because if she goes into the pit again, it's going to have to be Jenna again.
No,
right?
Yeah, that's
you know,
true.
You wouldn't ever want to put Brianna in there. And it's like, is Brianna ever going to do good in these missions?
Wow, I never thought about that. What if the same person on the team will always go in? Do you think Cara Maria is gonna trust Jamie and with her fate? Cara Maria is gonna say, "I'm going in." You know what I mean?
But you won't have an option though, because if it's going against guys, Jamie's gonna have to go in against Leroy or Bananas or Vinny or Mitch or Corey or Dario or Rafi or whoever.
Well, Kahada says it was a dumb idea to reveal your hand that quickly. Yeah, but in terms of, but she did establish a really smart divisional thing where it's like girls have to ban against the guys. Sure, it was a little early to reveal your hand, but it worked.
It did, but I will say it was Cara Maria and Kellyanne. That's only two teams. To have a strong alliance, you need more than two teams in it. And Kahada is obviously showing that, like, hey, I benefited from this, but I'm not part of this alliance.
That's true.
I'm not going to, stick to this. Cara Maria and Kellyanne, they need to bring in another guy-girl team. Like, maybe she can lure Leroy? I don't know. Who else is out there?
Yeah, but Leroy is... He's not going to leave Banana's side.
Exactly. That's not Leroy.
Yeah.
Leroy wouldn't just join an alliance for self-preservation like that. It's too reckless.
Let's cut to the bar. Are you ready to talk about the bar stuff?
Yeah.
All right.
But I will say Bananas, we always talk about how Bananas always has, like, one slightly sexist thing to say about women. And when it was revealed that Jenna and Brianna are going to end up going against Christina and Emily, Bananas likes to say, God help us. This is some sort of challenge that requires intelligence or strategy because we'll be in for a long night.
Well,
which the thing is like he always says something that's kind of mean and sexist, but this time like I don't know how you can argue with it because it's kind of true. Like Jenna, Brianna,
yeah, there are 4 blondes in the elimination, so yeah, it's an easy funny joke. It's a lazy joke, Bananas. This is the premiere. Give us something better, Bananas.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, that's the other thing. I forgot to mention. After they came into second place, Kahada and Jill win. He was just like, it turns out that we're the targets of people's aggression. And already I'm just like, you're playing the victim.
Bullseye is on our back.
You're playing the victim
everyone's
again.
Got it for us.
Just like Battle X's 2. I wanted you to leave then, and you're back, and you're still bitching.
He totally played it up like he was like the center of attention and like, yeah, they're all gunning for us. I can see how this whole challenge is going to go. The whole season, they're all gunning for us. We're the top dogs. And it's like, no, she kind of wanted to help out Kahada.
To me, it made sense. It was too early to do it.
There was right. Yeah, there was no benefit from getting first place in that challenge. Like, there really wasn't. Like, just because Kahada is choosing who goes in rather than Bananas and Vinny, that doesn't matter in the long run.
They established power right away. They said, hey, this is possible. By Kahada and Jill winning, they established that a guy-girl thing could win. The only thing is that they don't even like it.
Neutral.
They don't even they don't even
like
appreciate
Switzerland.
it.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's their political play.
They're ungrateful.
But after that, like, we can move on. Like, later they end up going out for the night.
Right.
They know who's going into the elimination.
Yeah.
There's 4 people at the bar who know, okay, this could be our last time getting drunk.
Let's get really fucking drunk. But everyone else is like, let's get really fucking drunk.
But here's the great thing, is they're finally able to go to this club that everyone wanted to go to on Battle of the Seasons. But Alton was a douche and said, no, guys, I don't feel like going out to a club. So Alton, like, nixed that whole thing. But now we're finally able. Like, how many years later is that? We're finally able to get to this club. Yeah,
Nani wept, I'm sure, as soon as she stood in that bar. Although, then she had this revelation where she's like, wasn't it a beach that he didn't want to go to? And that's what it was. They wanted to go to the beach, and he didn't want to go to the beach. And that actually makes it worse. That makes it worse, though. Alton, he's a grown-ass man, and he's surrounded by kids, as he said. And he is like...
He didn't want to get drunk at a beach?
He didn't want to go to the beach.
I don't care how old you are. You are never too old to get drunk at a beach. What the fuck? A club? Yeah. If you're 35, you don't want to be drunk at a club. I can see that.
All right, so anyways, at the bar, Corey is drunk, and he's making a lot of bad decisions with his
let's not just single out Corey.
Life.
Everyone is drunk. But Corey specifically.
No, I'm saying he's really drunk because he's making a very big mistake. He's humping on Anissa on the dance floor right now.
A mistake?
Yes.
I would like to say Anissa looks better this season than she has in any previous season. And she's been on the challenge for, what, like 13 years now? I can't even count. But she does look decent this season. You gotta hand her that.
Oh, the one half of Team Double Chin? You think she's hot?
You know what? If you put her next to Rihanna, she looks like a pot of gold.
That's a tactic. That's a fucking sheer tactic. She's
surround yourself with ugly chicks, it makes you look better. That's what Anissa did. I applaud it. You know what? Nani, she went the opposite route. She's like, I'm gonna find my hottest cousin.
That is
Anissa, she's a vet. She's smart. She knows what she's doing. Anissa's like, if I'm going to get banged on this challenge, I need to surround myself with my ugliest fucking cousin I can
and
find.
it worked. There's so many guys that mention Anissa as being hot, and I'm like, what?
But you still have to hand it to Anissa. Yeah, she's still got some big thighs, but she's not like she's not put.
Thighs.
Yeah, she's not put on like a bunch of weight over the years, like some girls do. She hasn't. Like we've seen her on the challenge for years and years. She's looking alright.
Alright.
I'm not a fan. That's the thing that's throwing you off is I'm not a fan of Anissa at all. But like this episode, I became a little bit more of a fan of Anissa.
But what she does is say, hey, Corey, I heard that you hooked up with Nani. Or no, Vince said that you hooked up with Nani. And Corey's like, no, that's not true. And so now it's Corey versus Vince. Now cousin Vinny is in the forefront right now at this moment against Corey, who at this point I said, he seems like a real dude. And he knows that you have to step up to a piece of shit like Vince. Not a piece of shit. I don't know him. I'm just, again, it's kind of like, it's biased because I don't care for bananas. So now Vince
I like Vince a lot.
Yeah?
I feel like Vince is a very nice, sensible person compared to Bananas, who's
how do you explain his reaction then? Where Corey's like, you don't scare anybody. No, nobody in this house. And Vince is like, only you, motherfucker. Like, come on.
He's right. Because Corey is trying to challenge him.
Yeah.
So Vinny is right to say, yeah, apparently you're afraid of me because you're trying to confront me and start shit with me. So you see me as a challenge.
But it's only sparked from some candy bullshit of Vince going around saying Corey banged Nani.
It was probably as a joke.
It's fucking...
It's like, can you not say a joke anymore? Like in sarcasm, and people are like, oh, yeah, I saw Corey went into Nani's room. Yeah, they're only in there a couple minutes, but that's probably as long as Corey can last. And that was the joke, and then that, like, oh, I heard that he said that you slept with him. Like, we don't know exactly what happened.
All right.
I feel like Vinny, like, I don't
Vince.
hold it.
His name is
Vince. I don't hold anything against him.
All right.
Him or you.
Vince says, you're a personal trainer. Like, what the fuck are you going to do, right? And Anissa, she brings Corey away and talking to Corey, and she's like, you know what? He's a personal trainer, and he doesn't have the same body as you have, and you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah,
please sleep with me.
Exactly. Serious flirting. That's what she was saying the entire time.
Yeah. And I was like,
you don't
Corey,
got a bod
Corey,
like you.
I like you. I feel like you're one of the most real persons right now next to Kahada, and maybe, well, that's about it. In terms of, like...
Shane keeps it real.
Well, maybe keeps it real. Yeah, he does. He keeps it real tight for the boys.
Oh.
That wasn't even that funny until your reaction. Alright, well, anyways. But it was funny because they're both personal trainers, apparently.
Yeah.
But more importantly, Bananas is like, you know what? People have to understand that if you mess with Vince, you're basically going to receive the wrath of God himself. I'm like, dude, ease up on the fucking egotistical bullshit, man.
Yeah, that is like typical Bananas once he gets in the room. Like, he thinks of the shit to say before he says it to the camera. This isn't
the first time he's compared himself to the Lord. He said in Battle X's 1 where he ran up that slippery tarp, he's like, I basically walked on water.
But I will hand it to Bananas. He talked to Vince, and he coached him up, and he's like, hey, the last thing we need is any type of physical altercation. He's like, don't get into it with him. Vince was like, he completely agreed. He seemed very level-headed about it, Yeah. And Bananas was giving him wisdom, like, hey, don't be a hothead.
Yeah, I mean, to me... I'll just say this about Bananas. He basically did his same old shtick.
Yeah, he did.
He did the toast that's not even funny or witty. It's just like, I've heard so many random fucking dudes say that same toast in my lifetime. And you happen to have a camera near you,
Yeah, and he said in interviews, I always like to do the toast because I know it's not going to get me on camera. So,
right.
Oh, good job.
Right, exactly. So
Leroy tried to do his own version of the toast.
Yeah, and it's always the same thing. He's always just like, nobody vote for me.
Yeah.
That's all he says.
Hearing my name, otherwise we're at the show. I might burn your house down.
Again, they're at the bar. So the whole reason why Vince and Corey had that weigh-in scenario where they got up in each other's faces was because of who? Who did Corey hook up with, allegedly?
Nani.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So now, Nani cuts her her confessional because Nicole is very concerned now. She's starting to cry. She's like, everyone thinks that you're a whore, and I know you're not a whore, and shit like that. Like, she starts crying, and
As if she knows. Nani's like, yeah, I put up such a good front.
Yeah, and then cut to Nani's confessional where she's like, oh. I mean, every season I do, even if I don't hook up with somebody, or I do, it's still talked about, and I'm still, Nani's a whore, quote unquote, you know? And it is true. At least she acknowledges that every season she's on, it's like, you fuck this person. Like, that is their gimmick. Well, that's her wrestling gimmick.
She doesn't deny it. She's like, that's what people call me. But it's like, it is kind of true. It seems like every season you're on, you're always hooking up with someone.
And Nicole, her cousin, you know, it's promoted this challenge that who knows your deepest, darkest, whatever, you know, more than family. So is Nicole in complete denial about Nani's, you know...
promiscuity?
Yes.
Maybe. But the thing is...
Like, they're supposed to be tight. They're supposed to be like, you know, how could she not know that Nani's like that?
She's looking at the world through, like, yellow glasses, where everything's just like, oh, it's a pretty color, and everything's fine and dandy and happy. She doesn't want to know that, you know, she doesn't want to know the truth.
No. Yeah.
But the thing is after this night, like, everyone's hooking up. We never saw Nicole get with anyone. So we do have to give her credit for that. Because, like, Nani, like, in previous seasons, she would be hooking up with somebody.
Yeah.
I don't ever remember if it was on the first night or not. Usually it was, like, during the middle of the season, but it was still...
Right, yeah. Eventually it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Although,
but Nicole didn't do it, so I mean they're 1 for 1. They got the first drunk night over, and they didn't sleep with anyone.
Not in Battle of the Exes 2, she didn't get with anyone.
It's true.
She just emotionally tried to get with Johnny, and he turned her down emotionally.
Emotionally.
Yeah. So. You know.
Yeah. And like I think
she was just flaccid emotionally. And she was wet emotionally.
Emotionally flaccid and wet, and well,
as in tears.
Maybe you know.
Jesus Christ. No, this is the best part. Nicole started to cry, and she realized the camera's on her, and she's like, she bats away at the camera. She's like, "Go away!" and shit. Like she kind of cracked Jasmine style. Remember when Jasmine like took off her mic and was like, "Leave your mic on, Jasmine. Come on, you're not being a reality TV star."
I definitely thought that when I was watching it. It really seemed like, hey, we're seeing some of these new people on this season of Bloodlines. We're seeing them crack. You can tell the newbies from the vets. Like, you have Nicole, she's freaking out, telling the cameras to get out of her face. Earlier in the episode, we've seen Tony and Shane have a meltdown, get into a fight over, like, ridiculous stuff. And they're all new to the challenge. These newbies need to realize, hey, we can't just be getting completely shit-faced and just doing crazy shit. Because you're going to end up screwing yourself over in this game. If you want to last in the game, you need to be responsible. You need to not ruffle any feathers. But, I mean, it's kind of what you should almost expect, though, right? Like, a lot of the newbies, they're rookies for a reason, and they make a lot of mistakes. So
yeah. Rookies make the mistake of pushing the camera away. But when you're a star, no, you bring that camera right in your face. And, like, let me fucking say whatever I want to say.
After they're done with the club, start heading back to the house. Candace, she's vomiting in a plastic bag.
Yeah. It's not even a paper bag.
It was a plastic bag. It looked like a vomit bag. It looked like it was specifically designed to hold a large amount of vomit. Yeah,
but it's just, again, really awkward. No one else had to have a fucking, like, no other hot girl had to have a fucking plastic bag breathe in and out of it. She's awkward. She performed bad in the mission.
She did really fucking bad, and now she's getting the fucking most wasted out of anyone on the cast. It's like, you just did horrible.
Yes.
Now you're making a drunk fool of yourself, vomiting everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, why? No one's going to respect you at all.
No.
You needed to just play it cool and hope that you bounce back in the next mission.
Leroy, meanwhile, doesn't seem to see anything wrong with this. He's not worried at all, though. Or is he putting up a front?
He did storm off after the...
he did.
on that one interview with him, like after it, and she's like, I tried a lot and it just didn't happen, and then Leroy was just kind of just mumbling, and then I couldn't quite hear what he was saying, and then he's just swearing, and he's like, I'm done with this.
He lost his cool, which never happens for Leroy.
Yeah. He said I've had it with this game or something like that.
Yeah, this was bullshit. It wasn't gonna be fair or something like that.
Yeah. Poor Leroy. Swig a beer for the
Swig
a beer for the working man.
I will swig a beer for a working man, but Leroy. Okay, again, this is going back to free agents. His opening thing was like, you gotta love the challenge. You come in, free betting, free food. Free pussy if you want that. It's like he just says it's free everything, right?
Oh yeah.
That's basically the slacker attitude, which he also displayed in the mission performance. He's there because the challenge is paying him to show up. He doesn't have to fucking win. He's a veteran at this point, which means they all veterans get a big paycheck just to show up every episode. He's there.
They're getting paid outside of the final? Really? I didn't know that.
I think it was like after 3. Yeah, on your 4th challenge, you get paid a significant...
Cara Maria on season 8, she's getting bank. Bananas is getting bank. Leroy is getting that territory. So is Nani.
Yep.
Wow, Kahada. He's crossing that bridge almost.
He's getting paid right now. Yeah, because this is his 4th. Let's stay on track, goddammit.
But that's awesome. I had no idea that they got money outside of the final of the show. I just thought Bananas was banking on winning that final, and that's how he was making a living.
No, episode by episode, eventually. Do we have to talk about the hookups after the bar?
I wrote down a bunch of them because there were a few.
Yeah. Right.
Dario and Kellyanne.
Right.
And they got together at the end there. You could see she was flirting with him at the bar. But if you remember at the very beginning of this episode, there was like 4 guys in the pool, and Kellyanne is standing on the edge of the pool drinking a glass of wine like, you all have accents. Ha ha ha. And like she immediately picked out Dario. It was evident watching it the second time around. It was like, oh, Kellyanne knew what she was doing the whole time. And she played her game.
No, she was flirting with Rafi. She just didn't know the difference. She ended up with Dario.
Oh, Rafi is so different.
The bitch. No, I don't think she's that fine.
But Dario, he's the guy who has previously been on MTV.
Kellyanne also taught people how to twerk in this episode. You remember that? A little quick
I did. I did enjoy some Kellyanne action.
You can't
make it. I feel like it's been since the island since I've seen her last, but it was what was the other one? Cutthroat?
The Ruins.
Yeah. I always get those two mixed up. The Ruins, when she was with Sarah.
Yeah.
In a final.
Finally, let's get to who else hooks up in the house? Corey and Anissa. And this is where my interest, my commitment, I was hitching my wagon up to Corey. I'm like, click, unclick. I'm like, no more. Because he's hooking up with Anissa.
You didn't like that?
No.
That drive you...
No.
Really?
I liked Corey so much until he hooks up with Anissa.
But she's looking good this year.
Is she?
Anissa's never looked better, and Anissa, she says a great line. It was so good. She's like, oh, Corey, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. He's like, oh, he's such a good kid. Such a kid. Fuck. And then she just looks up and rolls her eyes, and it was amazing. Because, she could, she likes Corey physically, but then she's realizing, I'm too old to be doing this hookup shit. But she's still into it.
What are we, okay,
and then next you have, Mitch and Rihanna.
So Anissa, and, oh my god, that's completely interconnected. Corey and Mitch hook up with Anissa and Rihanna. Yeah. 2 teams collide.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. I knew they both hooked up, but they both are partners.
Yeah. Is that
an alliance?
That has to be an alliance. They have no choice.
Wow.
Now, you know what, though?
I never would have predicted that the first episode of Bloodlines would be Anissa, hot.
No, that is weird.
I've never once felt that way. We reviewed The Duel. I was totally against Anissa. I didn't like her at all.
You were.
Now
And
it's
how
fucking
many
10 years
years
later,
later?
and I'm like, oh,
Wow.
she's hot.
Holy shit. You know what? Maybe Anissa is like a vampire of hotness.
Yeah,
you
like
know
a
that
red
vampires-
wine vampire hotness. Like
What's
it's
that mean?
better with age. Red wine.
Yes, but I'm saying when you're a vampire, they say you can't be caught in a picture or on video. You ever hear about
Yep,
that?
I've heard that.
Anissa's hot, but you cannot see it on fucking camera.
You can on the season.
Or pictures.
Oh yeah, the video.
Well, maybe she's a day walker now. I don't know. Maybe she's getting cured.
1080p don't
But
lie.
no, you know, it's
Anissa's
the
got it
garlic
going
of
on.
cinema. It's the garlic of television.
Anissa's got it going on this year. Just admit it. She's hot.
Let's get to the elimination. The pit.
Yes. We have Jenna and Brianna.
Yeah. How
Who
do you
were the
feel about
worst?
those two?
They were
They
the
did pretty
worst.
bad.
Yeah.
Next is Christina and Emily. They were voted in.
And that's how I felt when I was watching the episode. I was like, that girl, she's like hooking up with the first guy she sees, Tony. I'm like, girls are gonna, most of the people, they're gonna want to vote them in already because they're rookies. Now you're just like hooking up with random people.
That's
You
true.
can rub people the wrong way and they're just like, we want this person out of the house.
It's called End of My Rope, the elimination round. There was all these little poles set up in the ground.
Had some like log posts just pounded into the ground, and then you got the rope that intertwines left to right.
Yeah.
Almost like shoelaces, you know, around
Yeah.
these poles to the middle, and then you gotta whip that rope, get it over the pole, so that way you can stretch your rope out long enough to hook it on to this other post that has a carabiner on it. And you gotta latch them, and then that means you win. We shouldn't forget, I don't want to skip over this, so I feel like we should talk about it, is that before this elimination round started, both of the teams, they had to pick one player to represent their team.
Oh, right.
It wasn't 2-on-2, it was 1-on-1.
Yes.
So, you know, you have Jenna and Brianna, they were the worst, and Jenna, she steps up. She's like, all right, I've been here last year. I was never in an elimination round, but I was in plenty of missions.
Yeah.
So she does have the missions experience, but not anything like the pit.
Didn't she also say Brianna fucked up this mission for me, so I'm not going to trust her with the elimination?
Basically, yeah.
That's
She's
right.
like, she's the weaker player, I'm the stronger player. But I gotta admit, I've never been a fan of Jenna.
No.
You've heard what I've said,
Yeah.
you know? And it's, you know, the rookie that just kind of got their way along, and I've never felt like she's very hot. She looked super hot in this elimination round. Like, I don't understand it, but I really thought Jenna looked super hot, and I was a big fan of Jenna. And you know what? Maybe it's because she's dating Zach, and I like Zach.
Oh my god, Jesus!
And like they're a great couple, and I think that Zach was probably helping Jenna work out, get into shape, get ready for this challenge. You know, maybe he was her personal trainer.
Oh.
Maybe Jenna could be a surprise, like great contender this season.
Wow. So now it's Jenna versus Christina, and Christina is in a huge lead, but she can't get to the second to the last post. She just can't do it. And every single time, like, the rope gets heavier with every log that you free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the more
But
rope
then
you
the
have
more-
to whip, it's heavier and heavier.
Yeah, the more you have to do it. And Christina is a tiny girl.
She can't whip that rope up high enough. Jenna can.
Eventually, Jenna just, she's very slow to kind of figure it out. Like, I think she even said, like, I don't understand this. Like, what are we doing?
Can you explain the rules to me again,
And
Jay?
she's like,
Come
yeah.
on.
And she looks, she's like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's what's going on. But like this year is a role reversal for Jenna. She's coming out. She's the leader of the team because you know Jay was her leader last year in Battle of the X's.
Yeah.
Too, and it was. And Jay is not a good leader, you know. But
What? No.
What? Come on! What kind of performance is that in the final?
It takes a leader to explain what's going on in the world. And we all remember how Jenna was like, what? What did TJ say? What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, he led her with, his slightly larger intelligence factor he had going on. But still, like, once he got to the final and you had to drink some fishy drink, he's like, no, not even going to try. I can't do it. No, not happening.
Yeah, but, oh my God, how can you not forget her performance leading up to that point? She was ready to fucking say, no, never.
Yeah, exactly. She was terrible, but she's been dating Zach since then. So, she has that going for her. She's been training with Zach, probably.
Jenna wins, which means Jenna and Brianna continue on. I don't know how to feel about it. I'm like, okay, good, I guess. I couldn't care too much.
I was happy that Jenna was back because Jenna, another girl I wasn't really excited about, along with Anissa and Nani. Like, now I'm excited about Jenna. I'm like, she got a win. First time out. She's never done this before. She carried her team. That was a good performance by her.
Yeah.
You know, it was the first episode. You got rid of your competition. That's something to be proud of. And you know what? Probably you won't get voted in next time because maybe people will say, like, hey, you've already been there once. We won't put you in again.
Yeah.
That's what you're hoping for.
You know what? Bananas, he says, way to go, Jenna. You could teach Zach a thing or two about winning eliminations. No, he said it.
Because he won against Leroy last year, didn't he?
Now, I kind of looked it up. I thought about it a little bit. I'm like, you know what? Zach has won 3 out of 5. So he's not that bad at fucking eliminations.
No, he's not bad at all. But
so,
as they say, you're only as good as your last match. So, last time Zach was out there, he lost. So you're only that good. So, yeah, sorry. I love Zach, though. Like, I wish he was here. He's one of my favorite guys.
He will be.
I know. I'm super excited. I'm so excited.
He's going to be not the same Zach. He looks bald. He's shaved all his hair off. All his power is gone. Is that Greek mythology or Bible mythology?
Shaving the head?
And losing all your power. Samson did that.
That's not in the Bible, dude. There's no one named Samson. There's not the book of Samson. That's like Greek mythology. That's like Icarus. Right? Flying too close to the sun.
On wings of wax.
Yes. That's why it's called Achilles' heel.
Brought to you by Trojan. Alright, well, you know what? That's the end of the episode.
It was an okay start. It wasn't great. Like, we've seen better.
Yeah.
But it did still have a little bit of everything. There was sex. There was drama. There was hooking up and hooking up and hooking up. Yeah, there was a lot of sex going on. Shane and Tony had a good fight. We didn't really talk about it a whole lot.
Oh my god, we forgot to mention that they were threatened with getting kicked out.
Yeah.
And that was part of a cliffhanger for the episode. And for me, I got annoyed because I'm like, they're not going to get kicked out. I don't know. For some reason,
I felt like they were going to, like, immediately. I was like, oh, Shane threw punches twice. It was like Tony grabbed him by the throat, threw him against the wall. Yeah. Like, they're done. But
and TJ says, we don't tolerate that sort of thing, violence. But
let this be a warning.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we don't tolerate this, but we will this time.
So why do you think they did that? Why did they get a buy?
I think they saw so much potential in Tony because he's a player. He talks out of line a little too much. And he gets into physical altercations. Like, he's the total package. Bananas is about 34, 35 years old. He's getting up there. They need a replacement. Tony could be groomed as that next replacement.
Oh my God.
Could it be? This is his rookie year on the challenge. I'm calling it now. He's got star potential. He's John Cena. He could head to the top. In the preview for the next, coming up on the challenge, they show you a bunch of previews. We don't know exactly what episode it's from. It might be next week. It might be 3 or 4 weeks from now. Yeah. They're showing us a bunch of stuff that's going to happen this season, which I don't appreciate. I wish they would just cut it down. This is what you're going to see in next episode. And you show me 25 seconds of it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to see this person who's going to fight with this person. But instead, they're showing us everything, and it's... What did you think about that?
If you overanalyze or if you just think about shit and you make connections instantly, you'll figure out that A, this person will get eliminated until this said mission. So next episode, you tune in and you're like, wait a minute. This isn't that mission I saw Kahara in. So that means he's automatically safe, no matter what. So yeah, the trailer, MTV is notorious for just saying, fuck it, like, we'll show you everything. We don't care.
Yeah, and then they showed like a preview, or like a next one of the challenges is going to happen, or one of the missions. And then they show someone just laying in the water on their back, and then an ambulance coming and taking them away.
Whoa.
And plus, we know that, what's his name, Abrams is coming back. We've seen that in the preview as well. So someone gets injured, they leave, and then Abram comes. I don't know if you slow down the trailer for that, but you can obviously see who was laying in the water on their back right before the ambulance showed up. Did you recognize who it was?
No. In fact, I didn't even recognize that scene in the trailer. But go ahead, tell me.
It looked like it was. I don't even remember her fucking name. Okay, yeah, it was Camilla's sister.
What?
Larissa.
What?
It looked like Larissa was laying on her back
Holy
with the life jacket on, and then the ambulance takes her away. So Camilla is going to get knocked out, and then Abram's going to come in and take her place.
Holy shit.
That's what it looked like.
And you know what? Camilla basically was knocked out in free agents her previous season because family members were injured. Oh, and it's been confirmed. Our own fans. Okay, during the pre-show, I'm like, you know what? Camilla was crying on free agents the entire day, and I assumed it was a bloodline, a family member. Some fan was like, her dad died.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's why she was crying and all that other shit. I'm like,
holy shit, Vince. Quit being such an asshole. Her dad died, and you're giving her shit about it.
I wasn't giving her shit about it. In fact, you gave her shit. You were like, oh, she was probably on her period. Like, that's what you said. And I was like, no, I feel like something happened.
do not recollect the events in question.
All right, so...
Hearsay, damn it.
Like this video. Subscribe. You can check out our channel. Check out everything we have to offer. We've already covered Battle of the Exes 2, the Duel, and part of the Gauntlet. I'm still kind of doing that, but it's extremely boring. I don't like recording podcasts by myself. But yeah, I am Vincent Cloud.
I'm David Lauer.
And this is Battle of the Challenges podcast. And this is a weekly podcast. So get used to it.
Boom.